Hi, my name is Greg Hartnett. I am the Director of Youth Ministry here at Whitworth Community Presbyterian Church. And our question today is, I have doubt. What do I do with doubt? Can faith and doubt coexist? So the quick answer, yes, absolutely. Faith and doubt can coexist. I think that doubt is one of these components of discipleship, and it's kind of teetering on this level of having the ability to strengthen your faith, but at the same time, if you don't follow through with it in a good way, it could destroy your faith in some way. One of my favorite analogies when thinking about doubt is the story of the three little pigs. One thing that tends to happen is we construct this faith, we kind of understand who God is maybe for the first time, and then something will come along inevitably in life that is huffing and puffing and ends up blowing our whole idea of who God is, just blows it all to the ground. And so at that moment we have the opportunity to either walk away from it and just be like, forget this, I'm done, or we have to think maybe more strategically. We maybe ask some different questions, ask some people who are way smarter than us about different things, spend time in prayer, just wrestle, and then try and rebuild something. And inevitably at some point you're gonna again have huffing and puffing happening, and maybe your faith will stand strong for a little while longer, but then eventually that house of sticks is going to get messed up as well. It'd be great if there were only 3 times in life that we have to wrestle with faith, but inevitably we just continue building. I think there's a bunch of different causes for why we doubt, and one of them that I run into quite a bit with high school students is poor decisions and wanting to make poor decisions. And so what ends up happening is we're trying to justify our brokenness, we're trying to justify maybe sin that we're continually living in, and it doesn't quite sit with who God is. And what happens is we say, well, I really like having sex and not being married, so I'm going to try and make God fit into that box. And I think really if we're living in our brokenness, if we're living in sin in that way, there's no real way for us to have a good relationship with God. And so I think doubt inevitably is going to creep in and take charge. And really you just have to be honest with yourself and say either, well, really I just want to kind of pursue this stuff that I know is not what God is about, or you need to maybe take a different look at your life. A lot of times in our lives we experience tragedy, whether it's somebody who dies that is close to us, or seeing abuse, seeing brokenness. Tragedy just inherently is going to cause us to ask questions that are tough, and we enter these kind of dark nights of the soul. That's okay. The Psalms are just filled with all sorts of emotion, and Psalm 6 is a great one where David is kind of shaking his fist at God. And a lot of times when I talk to people, they really just need permission to be mad at God, and that's okay. It's okay to question. It's okay to say, I'm so angry with this situation, and God, why is this not the way that it should be? And the reality is we live in a broken world. We live in a world that is not what it's supposed to be. And the good news is that we have a creator. We have this Jesus Christ who has come and is at work redeeming this world. I think another one that I run into quite a bit is doubt that is caused because of intellectual issues. As you grow up, everything is black and white. Everything makes sense very clearly until we get to like junior high, high school, and your brain starts to develop, and you have the ability for really the first time to think abstractly and think about some new things in new ways. Really, that's an exciting, freeing time where we have the opportunity to ask questions that we've never had before. I think the basic thing is that God is bigger than your questions. God can handle those questions. That's okay. Go find somebody to ask those questions. And if they don't have good answers, ask them for resources, or ask them for somebody else to try and wrestle with that. One of the things I wanted to close with was just this story in Mark 9. There's a story of this guy who brings his son, who's demon-possessed from birth, to Jesus and says, Jesus, this son of mine has been possessed from birth, and the demon inside him continually tries to kill him. If you're able to, please heal him. And Jesus says, all things are possible for those who believe. And the man says immediately, I do believe, help me with my unbelief. And that's just a great prayer as we think about doubt and faith.